All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops at Great Millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp, coming out with a lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying to the Lord's elect. It says the Supreme Court to weigh birthright citizenship. So the duck is trying to get rid of your birthright, man. All right, so if you were born here in the country, according to the 14th Amendment, that protects you and makes you a U.S. citizen. He wants to get rid of that. So now if you are born here, it's not necessarily, that doesn't mean you're an American. So I don't know what's going to determine if you're an American or not.
Developing in the D.C., the Supreme Court is taking up a major constitutional challenge that could redefine birthright citizenship. The Supreme Court agreed to decide whether President Trump can end birthright citizenship by executive order. Earlier this year, the justices avoided
Black, Latino, Arab, Asian, white birthright citizenship is a right.
that question on technical grounds. Arguments will take place next year. A decision is expected by June. This is the first Trump immigration policy to reach the High Court for a final ruling.
Do not pay your car insurance bill.
Okay, that's it on that video. I didn't watch the video. I just knew that was the talking points.
Assistant law professor Aaron Carr from Seattle University. Aaron, thanks for being with us.
It says Scottish takes up birthright citizen case.
Us tonight.
Good evening, Joyce.
So what legal arguments do you expect to see on each side of this in this new challenge to birthright citizenship?
The legal arguments that the government has advanced to defend the president's executive order are bold and contravene federal law, as well as contradict over a century of legal precedent. The president has essentially asserted that his interpretation of the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause is correct and that the courts have gotten it wrong for the last 120 years.
Yeah, man. So Duck think y'all, he got it wrong. Y'all got it wrong. This dude eats McDonald's for lunch. Okay? Boy, this is great because no matter what they do, no matter what Esau does, we got the victory, man. And it's important that y'all know this, man. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He's trying to take your birthright away because you have his birthright. All right? He sold his birthright to you. And now he's mad. Okay? So it's funny. It's actually laughable what he's doing. But in the end, the Lord's going to laugh at him because where he's going and where you're going are two different places. Okay, he's going into the pit. He's going into hell, slavery. You're going into everlasting. You're going to be in Abraham's bosom, like it tells you in the book of Luke. Like Lazarus, he's the rich man. He's going to be asking for you to dip your finger in some water and to give him just to cool off his tongue, okay? Because that's how much torment he's going to go through that he's not going to get any form of relief.
The administration first disputes that the 14th Amendment automatically grants citizenship.
I just want to finish reading her sign. Birthright citizenship is a right. Bamman.com.
To children born on American soil, and has instead argued that the amendment's purpose was much more limited and was...
If I wasn't actually seeing her face, I would think she was like a 14-year-old girl.
Only intended to confer citizenship status to the children of formerly enslaved people. And then the administration...
Oh, yeah. Let me rewind what she just said.
Citizenship status to the children of formerly enslaved people.
Let me get back again.
That the amendment's purpose, administration first disputes that the 14th Amendment automatically grants citizenship to children born on American soil, and has instead argued that the amendment's purpose was much more limited and was only intended to confer citizenship status to the children of formerly enslaved people. And then the administration has further argued that undocumented immigrants...
So it was only supposed to help those who were formerly enslaved. So if you your family was enslaved here and they had kids, then I think that's what she's saying. If your family was here and they were here during slavery and they had kids, then the amendment will protect them, not immigrants.
More limited and was only intended to confer citizenship status to the children of formerly enslaved people. And then the administration has further argued that undocumented immigrants are not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States for purposes of the 14th Amendment, and therefore are exempted from the birthright citizenship guarantee of the Constitution.
Oh my God, these devils, man. Oh, I can feel how evil these people are, man. First of all, these people were here before these raggedy ass people came over here on slave ships. I mean, on boats. And, the fact that they're in a position, this birthright citizenship should void your citizenship and get you the hell up out of here. Then that should apply to all, instead of, you should go after all the Europeans that are here then, based on your logic. But the reason why they do it is because they're wicked. Okay, they're wicked, and ultimately, it don't matter what they do, because where they're going for all this wickedness, they're gonna pay for that shit, man. And the Lord's gonna finally show it. And this is what, I'm trying to. I don't want to be put to death with these people, man. Let them fill that tab up and let them be destroyed. Hurry up, do the best you can. Whatever law you pass, it don't matter, man. It don't matter, because the Lord has given us the victory over you devils. Okay, so you lose. We're getting closer to that time where we're going to finally see you get what you deserve.
And yet, importantly, not a single federal court has endorsed these arguments.
So what consequences could this case have for U.S. citizens who think that their own status is secure?
This case will not have any direct consequences for the status of current U.S. citizens and won't have a retroactive effect. But the administration's efforts to rescind birthright citizenship protections are a part of a broader effort to redefine citizenship in this country.
Right. All right. I didn't mean to cut her off, but I want to slow it down a little bit because I want to digest what she's saying here. Okay. The broader effort to revoke, because this is how this devil works. He works by his laws. Okay, he wants to justify his wicked acts, okay, to make it seem like he's some form of in order, but he don't follow any of his laws. See, the Lord's laws, the only real amendment the Lord has made was that animal sacrifice. He sent his son, but he gave you the understanding that this was supposed to happen since the beginning. So it wasn't even really an amendment when you have the understanding that this was supposed to happen this way for you to accept and come back and be redeemed and learn that the law wasn't supposed to. It wasn't. How can I put it? It's like the scriptures call it as a schoolmaster. Okay, it's supposed to show you that in order to make you repent, pretty much, and to know that you need the Lord. You absolutely need the Lord, ultimately. Okay? First and foremost, that's what the law was supposed to show you, because you couldn't keep it. Even when he gave you the land, he gave you the law, he showed you mercy and all of that. But it's the fact that you're in these bodies. You need him you realize through, even if, how can I put it? I don't mean to be all over the place, but you need the Lord to change you. You need him. He's the one. He can give you the whole world. And that's what Esau's showing you. Because Esau has the whole world. He has everything. Okay? But he doesn't have the Lord. Okay? And you're on the other end of that. You had a Lord. You don't have an inheritance with this world. But at the same time, there's salvation for you at the end of the day. And that's better than anything Esau possesses. Okay? And he's mad about that. And that's why he's coming down on you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Because he's literally mad because that the Lord hates him. So I'd rather you have all that shit. You could be the first trillionaire and all. None of that's going to matter in the kingdom. The Lord can give you all that and more. He covets what Israel has, man. He covets immortality. He covets being close to the Lord. Having an everlasting law that can't be changed, that leads to life. He covets these things. Your blessing. And he wants to take it away from you the best way he can, but ultimately the Lord is controlling him to do, using his wickedness against him ultimately, but to bring forth his, to bring forth that affliction and ultimately hardening his heart like he did to the ancient Pharaoh. So his name could be glorified down here on the earth.
That has many Americans fearful of citizenship in this country, that has many Americans fearful of their citizenship status and their political rights.
So how should we understand this within the broader context of executive power over immigration and constitutional limits?
Yeah, so I think here it's important to understand that although the president has broad authority on immigration matters, the president doesn't possess the power to unilaterally reinterpret the Constitution to serve their own policy preferences. The Supreme Court has generally been deferential to the president in determining immigration policies, but the question in this case is whether the Supreme Court will abdicate its judicial independence to the executive branch by endorsing a legal theory that has been resoundingly rejected as legally and historically unsupportable. And this is not a difficult case. Constitutional history and legal precedent should dictate a very clear result.
They should. Do you think they will?
I wish I had the power to see into the future. We'll have to continue that conversation in the spring.
Yeah, we definitely will continue this conversation. The ripple effects would be extraordinary. Erin Carr,
Unprecedented.
from Seattle University, thank you so much. We always appreciate your analysis on all of this. Thanks.
Thank you for the conversation, Joyce.
Of course.
Well, she did a good analysis. Gotta give her that.
A work of Cuisinart.
Very much. The U.S. Supreme Court will decide if President Trump can end birthright citizenship via executive order by accepting the appeal.
He's doing an executive order to do this. But anyways, let me grab it. Genesis 25th chapter, Genesis 25 and 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Pandanaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. So Abraham's son Isaac. Abraham at this time, he already had Ishmael. He had other sons. He had other kids. Okay, I don't know which number. Let me see. Which number kid was Abraham's son Isaac? I know I said that wrong. Isaac was Abraham's second son, born to his wife Sarah, making him the second born overall. Though he was the promised son and heir, while the first son Ishmael was born to Hagar, Sarah's maid, earlier. So he was the second son, but he had more kids than that. I think he had 6 kids. How many kids did Abraham have in total? 8 sons. Abraham had a total of 8 sons according to the Bible. Ishmael with Hagar, Isaac with Sarah, his promised heir, and 6 more sons, Zimran, Jokshan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua, with his later wife Keturah. Though the Bible primarily focuses on Isaac as the main lineage, while daughters aren't explicitly named, it's possible he had them, but the biblical focus is on his sons and their nations. It's a cut to you women too, showing you that you don't need a woman to bring forth the kingdom. He was having kids with heathen. Okay. But the promised son was Isaac. That's important because Isaac then had kids, and that's what we're going into now. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, so Isaac's wife's name was Rebekah. Okay. The daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Pandanaram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. So Laban is Isaac's uncle. Rachel, which is, excuse me, I'm lying. Isaac, no, I'm thinking of Jacob, Salakia, the sister to Laban the Syrian. So Rebekah was the sister to Laban the Syrian. Okay, so Rebekah and Laban were brothers and sister. Isaac married Rebekah, and then Jacob married one of Laban's sisters, well, Laban's daughters, I should say, Salakia. Genesis 25 and 21, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife. Entreated means to pray for his wife because she was barren, meaning she didn't have any children, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived, so she became pregnant. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she wept to inquire of the Lord. She wept to inquire of the Lord. You go to the book of 2 Samuel 9 and 9. It says, before time in Israel, when a man went to inquire of God, thus he spake, come and let us go to the seer, for he that is now called a prophet was before time called a seer. So a seer and a prophet are the same thing. Okay. Now I've heard brothers say that she went to Isaac, but the scriptures it doesn't say that. Okay, but if you could receive it, Isaac is the Lord in the reincarnation. Okay. But if you could receive it or not, that's not the point right now. Genesis 25, verse 22, and the children struggled together within her. So she was conceived, and she had 2 children inside of her struggling. And she asked, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So she wanted to ask a prophet about why she was struggling, so he could ask the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So the Lord told her that 2 nations are in thy womb. Typically, when a woman is pregnant with 2 babies in her womb, they're coming from the same, they're going to be of the same nation. Okay, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So they would be separated, their mannerisms would be different. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. This is Jacob and Israel. Esau and Jacob. Okay, Jacob is stronger than Esau. Okay, physically, we run faster, we're quicker, we're known to jump higher, we're more agile, just all of it. We're just overall stronger than them. And the elder shall serve the younger. So the elder would be the firstborn, shall serve the younger, which is the secondborn. Genesis 25, verse 24. So this is what the Lord told Rebekah when she asked. So this was prophetic. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, just like the Lord said. Genesis 25 and 25, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So this is who we talking about on the highways and hedges, man. It's this red devil, man. The red devil, Hellboy, Esau, came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, who calls himself today the so-called white man. That's why we call him that. But he's really red. Okay? And like a hairy garment, meaning the garments that were made before were made out of a certain type of dye that made it red. Okay? Let's look at this word, garment. I don't think it gets to glory, splendor, magnificence of a vine shepherd's mantle, a cloak made of fur or fine material, something ample, garment, glory, goodly, mantle, robe. The Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, a wide branching vine, no, a cloak so called from its being wide. A Babylonian cloak, variegated with figures or interwoven with various colors, having the figures of men and beasts, a hairy cloak, a garment shaggy with hair. Okay, in order to get certain types of colors in ancient times, you would have to crush certain bugs to get the various color you were looking for. Okay, so he was red all over like a hairy garment. Okay, talking about his skin color, he's red because his blood shows forth through his skin. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And it don't tell you what Jake looked like, because Esau is the first recorded so-called white man in the Bible. That's what that's saying. So Jake, they didn't tell you what Jake looked like. Jake is short for Jacob. And his hand took hold on Esau's heel. And this matches up with 2 Esdras 6 and 9, where it tells you that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And his name was called Jacob. Jacob and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So 80 is 60 years old when she, meaning Rebecca, bare them. Jacob means supplanter. Okay, let's look at this word Jacob. Yaiquab. Okay, supplanter. All right. They get Esau's names wrong. You look at Esau's name, it says it means red or something like that. Or it means hairy. Okay, but it means a wasted away is he. Okay. He's a waste. Okay. Eldest son of Isaac and Rebekah and twin brother of Jacob, sold the birthright for food when he was hungry, and the divine blessing went to Jacob, progenitor of the Arab peoples? What? Sold the birthright for food when he was hungry, and the divine blessing went to Jacob, and this is progenitor of the Arab peoples. Oh my God, man, that is so funny. I'm glad I read that. This is a lie. Okay. Jacob's the progenitor, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Let me look at this word progenitor. A person or thing from which a person, animal, or plant is descended. The Arabs descend from Ishmael, not Jacob. Oh, Salakia, I'm looking up Esau. So they're saying Esau is the progenitor of the Arab peoples. Yeah, that's a lie. That's a lie, man. That's how he likes to deflect, because he don't want you to know who he is, man. He'll go out his way to say that. Yeah, tell him he's the progenitor of the Arabs. No proof, just saying it. See if you fall for it. Just like he talks about the Lord. Oh, he looks Middle Eastern. He's a Middle Eastern person. You know, that's how they like to depict Jake. But Esau is an Edomite. He's the progenitor of the Edomites, which is the so-called white man. Genesis 25, verse 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So he was a cunning hunter. Let's look at this word cunning. Okay. It don't really give a good, you don't really give to be instructed, discriminate, distinguish, to know by experience. That's not really what the word cunning means. Well, yeah, I guess so, to know by experience. Cunning means having or showing skill in achieving one's ends by deceit or evasion. So he's a cunning hunter. He knows how to get you by deceit. A man of the field. He's outside. He's hunting. And that's what he likes to do in this time too. Who's mostly known for hunting? Esau is. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And you Jakes, y'all plain. Plain goes into being righteous. Let's look into that. Perfect, complete. One who lacks nothing in physical strength, beauty, sound, wholesome, an ordinary, quite sort of person. Complete, morally innocent, having integrity. One who is morally and ethically pure. Upright, meaning righteous. Okay? So you're plain, man. You're complete. You're upright. You had some form of integrity. Esau don't have these skills. He's not the soul which is his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. It tells you in Genesis 25 that two manner of people shall be separated from that bow. So we're just different because we're the righteous and he's the wicked. It's very simple. Okay. Genesis 25, verse 28, and Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Venison is like deer. So let's look up venison. Venison is the meat from deer. Genesis 25 and 29, Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. So now we're getting into Jacob's birthright. Okay, so Jacob sawed pottage. Sawed means to boil. Okay, let's look at this word sawed. Okay, to boil, to seethe, act proudly, act presumptuously, but it means to boil. He was boiling pottage. Let's look at this word, pottage. Pottage. Boiled food, soup, pottage, things sodden or boiled. So he was boiling soup. Okay. And Esau came from the field and he was faint. Faint means he was what? Let's look at this word faint. Thirsty, faint, exhausted, weary. Okay? He was exhausted. He was weary from being in the field. Genesis 25 and 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. Let's look at this word birthright. Let's look it up. Birthright. Primogeniture, right of the firstborn. Let's look at primogeniture. The state of being the firstborn child. The right of succession belonging to the firstborn child, especially the feudal rule by which the whole real estate of an estate passed to the eldest son. So he was the, let me see how it sounds. Primogeniture. It's not letting me click it for some reason. Okay. So he's the firstborn, so the birthright go to him, right? Genesis 25, verse 32, and Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? So he didn't care about the birthright. He was so hungry he was willing to sell his birthright for some stupid ass, some food, man. A quick meal, fast food. Genesis 25:33, and Jacob said, swear to me this day, and he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. So something he's trying to take from you, he sold to your forefather Jacob. Let's look at this word, birthright. I just looked at the word birthright. Salakia. But just look it up personally on Google. And it keeps bringing up the Supreme Court agrees to the side of Trump may end birthright citizenship. He hates the birthright. He despises the birthright. He wants to end it. Genesis 25, verse 34. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. And Esau despised his birthright, just like he despises your birthright. Hebrews 12, verse 16, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright for a little piece of meat. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. And this is why he's coming after against your birthright. Okay. But let's go into ChatGPT. So we know the birthright goes to the firstborn, right? So here it is. Abraham, his father, dies. The blessing goes to Isaac. And then he sells his birthright. So the land, okay, that would have belonged to Esau. What was Esau's birthright going to do for him? Okay. Esau's birthright wasn't something small. It represented the covenantal privileges, rulership, and spiritual inheritance that normally goes to the firstborn of the chosen line. By selling it, Esau forfeited the position that would have placed his seed as the ruling nation in the chosen lineage. So, there you go. Below is what the birthright contained according to the scripture. Rulership over the family/nation. The birthright gave the firstborn authority, position, and leadership. Precept, Genesis 27:29, be Lord over thy brethren. Even though Jacob later received this blessing, this was originally Esau by right of birth before he despised it. So rulership over the family, the nation, he no longer has a double portion of inheritance. The birthright entitles the firstborn to a double inheritance. Deuteronomy 21:17. Let's grab that. So you fucked up, Esau. Deuteronomy. Domestic relations 21:10. Let me read up a little bit and go down to the point. When thou goest forth to war against thine enemies, and the Lord thy God hath delivered them into thine hands, and thou hast taken them captive. Nope. I'll keep going. And seest among the captives a beautiful woman, and has a desire unto her, that thou wouldest have her to thy wife. Then thou shalt bring her home to thine house, and she shall shave her head and pare her nails. And she shall put the raiment of her captivity from off her, and shall remain in thine house, and bewail her father and her mother a full month. And after that thou shalt go in unto her, meaning have sex with her, and be her husband. And even that means you taking it, because she might not want to sleep with you. You probably just killed her mother and her father during a war, because that's part of the law. And she shall be thy wife. So then she shaves her head. 30 days later, you give her time to mourn. And then you go in there and you consecrate the marriage. Now, she might not want you to do it, but hey, this is when you do it to her. And that's just ancient times. And it shall be, if thou have no delight in her, then thou shalt let her go whither she will. But thou shalt not sell her at all for money. Thou shalt not make merchandise of her, because thou hast humbled her. So typically she would have been a virgin, because you probably would have put anybody else's wife to death, because harlots weren't not harlots, but women who were already married and all that. You didn't want that. You know, you would go and get you something new. Deuteronomy 21 verse 15. If a man have two wives, one beloved and one hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated, and these are the laws. These are how the laws are implemented. These are the scriptural, biblical laws that the Lord gave to the nation of Israel. Then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he have, just like Esau and Jacob, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. So this is specific. You might have a kid with a woman you don't like anymore, but that's still your firstborn son. And if you have a kid that you have a new wife, you love her, and then you have a kid with her, you might want to give that birthright to the new son, the new wife's son. But this law prohibits that. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion of all that he have. So the firstborn has a double portion of all that he have, which is the father. So in Esau and Jacob's case, Esau would have got a double portion of all that Abraham had. So probably a little of it will go to Jacob, being, but that was enough so you could rule and take care of your family, because you were now coming up into that role of being the head, For he is the beginning of his strength, the right of the firstborn is his. But he sold the right of the firstborn child unto Jacob for some meat. Okay? So he despised his birthright. Precept, for he is the beginning of the strength, the right of the firstborn is his. This means Esau would have received the largest portion of Isaac's wealth. Salakia, not Abraham's wealth. Isaac's wealth. Cattle, servants, tents, land. He would have received a double portion of that. The position of priesthood in the family. Before the Levitical priesthood existed, the firstborn functioned as the priest. Sacrifices, altar, duties. And it tells you, Exodus 13:2. Let me grab this. The firstborn would be the priest. That makes plenty of sense. Esau be coming after the firstborn all the time, man. Consecration of the firstborn. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me, Exodus 13:2, all the firstborn, whatsoever openeth the womb among the children of Israel, both of man and of beast, it is mine. So even of man and of beast, they're sanctified unto the Lord, your firstborn, man. And they're going to do whatever. So even of the beast, they're here to do the Lord's will, man. Whatsoever openeth the womb. So a male coming out of the womb, if it's the firstborn, it's sanctified. Okay? For the Lord. Meaning Esau would have held the spiritual leadership of the chosen family line. He gave all of that up for one morsel of meat. So he's pathetic. So all this stuff that you see Esau do on a day-to-day basis, it's pathetic. It's showing you how much of a damn unfit ruler he is, an unfit individual. He's a child through the spirit. But ultimately, it's because we're older than him in the spirit. Okay, so we can see that all of this stuff that he's doing is very childish through the spirit, and we know his time's almost up. Okay, his time's almost up. We already have his birthright. He could take everybody's birthright away, but he'll never get his back. Participation in the covenant. Esau, as the firstborn of Isaac, was positioned to inherit the promise given to Abraham. What's that? Genesis, the 12th chapter? Genesis 12. Verse 1. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, is Abraham before his name was changed. Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, which is your family, and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. Because he came from I believe. Let me see if they give me the precept. If you go into the tools, cross references, Genesis 11:31. And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son's Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came unto Haran and dwelt there. And the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran, which is Abram's father. But he told him not to go with them. Okay. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. So this would have been passed down to Esau. He want to make America great, but he already sold his birthright, so he don't have the capability to do that. He said, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So he don't have the right to bless anybody. He's a curse. The covenant line, the blessing of the land, the rulership over nations, being the progenitor of the chosen people. He didn't want that. He despised all of that. He despised being chosen by the Lord because he's a fool. Okay? He's a dummy. He's an idiot. Psalms 14:1, to the chief musician, the Psalm of David. The fool have said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There was none that doeth good. That's Esau. He's a fool. He don't believe in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Genesis 28, verse 3-4 shows Jacob receiving blessing, fruitfulness, a nation in company of nations, the land promised to Abraham and Isaac. Originally, this would have gone to Esau. Let's go grab that. Genesis 28. I'll start at 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Pandan and Ram, to the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father, and take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of Laban, thy mother's brother. And God Almighty bless thee, and make thee fruitful, and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a multitude of people, and give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee, and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. So this would have belonged to who? It would have belonged to Esau. But it doesn't. He sold his birthright like a fool. Like it tells you in Psalms 14:1. Blessing of supremacy over other nations. The birthright included dominion. Precept. Isaac's blessing, which Jacob received, includes Genesis 27:29, let people serve thee, be Lord over thy brethren. So he would have been Lord over Israel. Temporarily he is right now, because when you read Genesis 27, he was given a sword. He was going to break the yoke. He cried for a blessing. He's in his blessing now, but that blessing's coming to an end. He's not here to rule perpetually. The Lord gave all these nations some type of authority, but didn't give it to Israel. He gave them 40 years of peace, and then what did he do? He took it away and gave it all to the heathen. all the authority and power you heathen have is ultimately belongs to the Lord. Number one, He gave you that power. He's gonna take it away from you, and He's gonna give it back to the sons of God, and you're gonna be ruled over. This shows the birthright was tied to national power, rulership in the earth. He covered something he could have had, not just like a little kid. Now he see that is being taken away from him. He wants it back. And that's him crying like a little damn kid through the Spirit. But it didn't belong to him in the first place. He never wanted it. The family line of the Messiah was prophesied to come through Abraham, Isaac, the son who held the birthright. If Esau had kept the birthright, the Messiah's lineage would have run through him. So that's why he sets up this false god to make him feel like he didn't do anything wrong, that he didn't sell his birthright, because now he sees how important it is. Everything he does, it's gonna come to an end. You know, that's why he rules in wickedness, because it's temporary. What's the point of having an upright kingdom when that's not your blessing? Your blessing is to be wicked. But the Most High rejected Esau, Malachi 1, 2, verse 3, and he despised the birthright anyways. Let's grab that. Malachi 1 and 2, I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So if you don't know who the wicked is, now you do. Malachi 1 and 4. Okay. Edom. Esau, I hated Esau. Edom, he hates him. Indignation is righteous anger. Hebrew word birthright, Bekora, meaning firstborn right, inheritance rights, authority, blessing, privilege, position. So Esau despised not just some blessing, but the entire spiritual and national destiny of the chosen line. He didn't want to be chosen, because ultimately he was not supposed to be chosen. This is all through the Spirit. We were predestinated from the beginning. The Lord chose us from the beginning. It's all about predestination. Going back to Genesis 1 and 1, about in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. When you look at that word God, it goes into Elohim, which means, or Elohim when you look it up in the blue letter. But what that's telling you is that that's the elect. That's the first fruits. That's Yahweh Shai and the elect. They're going back to their proper state. They were here before Esau was created. Okay. Esau despised not just some blessing, but the entire spiritual and national destiny of the chosen line. Right. Let me grab this natural brute beast. That's what Esau is. He's a beast. He got the power. He call us beasts, we monkeys and all that, but he don't, at least we understand that he going into slavery. 2 Peter 2 verse 12, but these is natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption. See, it's like we're battling beasts because y'all don't understand the scriptures. You come up against it, you make excuses about it, but we're here to try to clean up all those lies. Matter of fact, what's that? The natural man. Let's grab that. 1 Corinthians 2 verse 14, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, For they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. And that's what Esau is. He's spiritually discerned. He's a natural man, meaning he don't operate. Men are just a bunch of beasts. Okay, if they lack the understanding, they might have a body of a man, but they lack the understanding of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. The wisdom's not dealing with them like that. He's dealing with wisdom on the left hand side, but he can't operate in the wisdom on the right hand side because that's not his blessing. The Lord's not dealing with him like that. He got him thinking science is the top knowledge, and he's fully given over to think that, and that's his lot. GMS style summer. Esau's birthright would have made him the ruler over the family, the holder of the covenant, the line through which the Messiah would come, the priest of the household, the inheritor of a double portion, the one who nations would bow to. So our blessing hasn't fully manifested itself. See, everyone in this time is not bowing to Esau. A lot of them, they're scared of Esau because he got the sword, but they're plotting up against him. In the time that we rule, it's not going to be like that. We're going to have spiritual power. There's no coming up against Yasharallah. We got an everlasting salvation. Ain't nobody ruling over us after this. This is it. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Let me grab that. He's through. He can get rid of all the birthrights he want. The most important birthright, you fool, we got it. So all this birthright bullshit, see you later. F all of this birthrights. This place is going to be destroyed. You're going to leave here one way or the other. 2nd Ezra 6:9, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we need to endure to the end because we at the end. Esau is in power. He's a sign. He's a token of the end of the world. That's why the scripture says in Hebrews 12, verse 16, Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. He had no spiritual foresight. He despised the blessing, and the Most High rejected him. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. He's been rejected. Let me grab this. I'm going to end it on this. Jeremiah 6, verse 30. Reprobate silver shall men call him. Reprobate silver shall men call them Edomites because the Lord have rejected them. But that ultimately replies to the wicked and 2/3 of you who don't understand this truth. Okay? But I'm going to end it here. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.